They didn't have electricity. They didn't have engines. And yet, medieval engineers built machines so clever, we still use their core designs today. From the catapult's legacy in modern artillery to the windmill's rebirth as the wind turbine, the Middle Ages were not as primitive as we think. They were a time of creativity, innovation, and relentless problem-solving. Today we're uncovering 12 medieval inventions so brilliant that their ideas still power the modern world. Stay until the end, because the final machine might just change the way you think about medieval technology forever. 1. The water wheel, the engine of the Middle Ages. Long before the hum of electric motors, the medieval water wheel was the beating heart of every town. Built beside rivers, these enormous wooden wheels turned with the current, powering grain mills, forges, and textile workshops. The principle was simple: use nature's power to do human work. The water wheel's genius was its scalability. With minor adjustments, the same wheel could crush grain, hammer metal, or saw lumber. Modern hydroelectric dams use this same concept, water turning mechanical energy into usable power. The difference? Today, it lights entire cities. In the Middle Ages, it kept villages alive. 2. The windmill, harnessing the invisible force. When there was no river nearby, medieval engineers looked to the sky. The windmill transformed air into motion, a marvel of sails, gears, and shafts. First used to grind grain and pump water. Windmills symbolized independence. A good windmill meant your village didn't rely on expensive grain imports. Fast forward to today, we've reinvented the windmill as the wind turbine, harvesting clean energy from the same invisible force that once turned medieval millstones. The difference isn't the idea, it's the scale. 3. The mechanical clock. Time becomes measurable. Imagine living in a world where time was only marked by church bells or sunlight. Then came the mechanical clock, a marvel of gears, weights, and escapements that changed human life forever. The first large tower clocks of the 13th century made time public. For the first time, townspeople could schedule work, markets, and prayer by the same rhythm. Today's wristwatches and atomic clocks are direct descendants of that innovation. The medieval clock didn't just measure time, it created the idea of shared, structured time itself. 4. The printing press, the machine that made knowledge free. In the 15th century, Johannes Gutenberg's press changed everything. Before it, copying a book took months of painstaking handwriting. After it, thousands could be printed in the same time. The printing press spread ideas faster than ever before. Religious reforms, scientific theories, and news of the world. Modern printing, publishing, even the internet's culture of sharing ideas can all trace their lineage back to Gutenberg's hand-cranked press. It was in many ways the first information revolution. 5. The spinning wheel, revolutionizing textiles. Before industrial factories, medieval women and men spun wool and flax into thread using the spinning wheel. It multiplied productivity and brought textile work from workshops into homes. This humble device laid the foundation for the later industrial revolution. Every factory spinning frame and every automated loom owes a debt to this simple turning wheel. It wasn't just about efficiency, it democratized production, giving ordinary people control over one of the most essential crafts in human history: clothing. 6. The catapult, physics in action. Few machines represent medieval ingenuity like the catapult. Whether hurling stones over castle walls or breaking down fortresses, it turns simple tension and leverage into devastating force. Its modern descendants, ballistic launchers, aircraft carrier, catapults, and even the physics behind roller coasters, all use the same core mechanics: energy stored, then suddenly released. The catapult was more than a weapon. It was a masterclass in energy conversion, centuries before anyone could explain the math. 7. The treadmill crane, human power at its peak. Building castles wasn't just about stone and mortar. It took engineering brilliance. One of the cleverest devices was the treadmill crane, a massive wooden wheel powered by workers walking inside it, lifting stones that weighed tons. It turned human weight and motion into vertical power, like a manual elevator. Modern cranes and hoists still rely on the same mechanical advantage principles developed by medieval masons. The next time you see a skyscraper under construction, remember that the first cranes were powered by footsteps. 8. The Archimedes screw, lifting water with geometry. Though the concept was ancient, the screw's widespread use flourished in medieval Europe. Farmers and millers used it to lift water from low-lying fields into irrigation channels, saving crops from drought. Its design, a helical blade inside a cylinder, was simple but genius. Today, the same principle is used in modern irrigation systems, sewage plants, and even in the mechanisms of some aircraft and machinery. It's proof that good geometry never goes out of style. 9. The blast furnace. Birth of modern industry. Medieval ironworkers transformed human civilization when they invented the blast furnace. By controlling airflow and temperature, they could produce stronger, purer iron, the backbone of tools, weapons, and architecture. It was the beginning of mass production. Without the blast furnace, there would be no steel bridges, cars, or skyscrapers. The next time you see molten metal pouring from a modern factory, you're witnessing a direct descendant of medieval fire and ingenuity. 10. The compass, guiding the age of exploration. In a world without GPS or satellites, the magnetic compass was a miracle. Adapted and refined by medieval navigators, it allowed sailors to travel beyond sight of land with confidence. This tiny device guided explorers who redrew the world's maps. It turned Europe from isolated kingdoms into a global force of trade and exploration. Today's digital navigation systems, from airplanes to smartphones, still rely on that same magnetic principle. The compass didn't just point north, it pointed humanity toward the future. 11. The eyeglasses, expanding human potential. Invented in the late 13th century, eyeglasses transformed lives quietly but profoundly. For the first time, craftsmen, scholars, and artists who lost their eyesight to age could see clearly again. The invention of lenses led directly to microscopes, telescopes, and modern cameras. All extensions of the same medieval breakthrough, the ability to manipulate light to improve vision. It's one of the few inventions that bridged human frailty and human progress in one simple frame. 12. The wheelbarrow, the power of one. It might look humble, but the wheelbarrow changed labor forever. One person could now move what once took three. In medieval construction, farming, and mining, it was a quiet revolution. It reduced injury, increased speed, and amplified human power, all with a single wheel and a plank of wood. Today, its descendants include forklifts, carts, and every personal transport device that amplifies our strength through balance and leverage. Sometimes, the simplest tools endure the longest. The Middle Ages are often seen as a time of superstition and stagnation, 1,000 years of darkness. But the truth is far brighter. Behind every cathedral, mill, and workshop were minds that refused to stop inventing. They built machines not for luxury, but for survival. Machines that shaped the rhythm of daily life and laid the groundwork for our modern world. When we open a book, check the time, power our homes, or look through glass lenses, we're using the legacy of medieval ingenuity. These weren't just inventions. They were ideas that refused to die. If you enjoyed this journey through medieval innovation, subscribe to the channel for more documentaries that uncover the forgotten wisdom of history. Every week, we explore how people of the past solved problems we still face today, with courage, creativity, and sheer human brilliance. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we continue to rediscover the genius of the medieval world.